While I was writing the script for this video that I'm about to start right now, I took a little nap break. I used this technique and I came up with an idea for my next video. This method works. So let's talk about how to unlock our minds and have our eureka moments. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Leeor Alexandra. Welcome to the B community. On this channel, we talk about spirituality, self-development, law of attraction, aliens, naps, apparently, quite a bit, and so much more. Look at this. That is henna. I've been blessed. I went to a henna, this Moroccan wedding ceremony, and I was blessed with some henna on my hand. So if I'm married next week, don't say I didn't warn you. I got the blessing. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the two super simple techniques that I use, and not only that I use, but that the greatest minds in history have used. And please don't take that to me conflating myself as one of the greatest minds in history. That is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I am emulating some of these great minds and that I may or may not have done it since I was a kid, okay? I'm just saying. But yeah, the greatest minds in history use these two super simple techniques to call in new ideas and to come up with some of the ideas that changed humanity forever. So this video is for anybody who has not been feeling inspired lately, having a little bit of writer's block, creative block, or somebody who's looking for that next step in their life. What's that next thing I'm going to do? I am ready to collaborate with an idea, with a thought form. I'm ready to channel an idea from the higher dimensions and to become a multi-millionaire, or to change the way society is structured, or to be an amazing new leader, or, you know, to just start a new company, or whatever it is that you want, or just the next kind of guidance or step in your life. This video is for you. I'm going to say that this video is for anybody who's searching, who's looking for something. There's going to be something in here that's going to give you that aha moment. That's what we strive for today. And these techniques are meant to give you that aha moment. And it's so simple. It's like, bleh. But before we get started, I do want to thank today's sponsor, Audible, for making this video possible. If you're not already familiar with my favorite app of all time, Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment, boasting the largest selection of audiobooks ranging from bestsellers to new releases. And now with Audible Plus, you can now have access to thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, guided fitness programs, meditation, and sleep tracks for even better rest. All available for downloading so that you can listen anywhere on the go, on any device. You don't have to be connected to the internet. So I adore Audible, and I've been a subscriber for many years. I use it all the time. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll always see my swipe ups or my stories that say which audiobook I'm listening to at the time. When I go on my long walks, which I'm about to talk about, I listen to an audiobook. When I clean the house, when I commute, when I travel, back when we used to travel on airplanes, I would listen to a whole audiobook the entire time. I always have an audiobook playing, and I'm always learning more about myself, about the world, about history, self-development. There's something for everyone on there. Right now, I'm listening to a book that my therapist actually recommended to me. It is called The Power of Attachment: How to Create Deep and Lasting Intimate Relationships. I do highly recommend this if anybody is kind of working on the way that they show up in relationships, or in their current or future relationships, or just working on themselves. It just teaches you a lot about yourself. And if you haven't signed up for Audible yet, you could actually get this audiobook for free and keep it forever, even if you don't continue your Audible membership. So you get a free book on us. Just text Leeor to 500 or go to audible.com/Leeor, and that link will be in the description below as well. My recommendation for your free book, because you can use this for any free book as far as I know, is either The Power of Attachment, Tools of Titans, which is like hours and hours and hours of content. So you should get your free book with that. Or You Are a Badass at Making Money. These are all life-changing books, so I really recommend it. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this video. So you guys know Thomas Edison, the grump that talked mad smack about sleeping, okay? He thought that people shouldn't sleep. He even invented the light bulb. Yes, I'm doing air quotes on this. Invented the light bulb to make the night more efficient so that you can keep working well into the night. He was a big hypocrite. He really was, because he got some of his most brilliant ideas while napping. So in today's video, I am talking about these 2 life hacks I use to get all my best ideas that have made me extremely successful, ideas that have brought people all over the world together, that have called in healing for the collective, ideas that are channeled from these higher dimensions, from these higher realms of existence. And they've completely changed my life, my human experience in this game of life. I don't know how I got to this point where this is my second video on napping and my second time talking about Thomas Edison and his naps, but clearly this is really important for me and I just have to make the case and advocate for naps and long walks, which is what we're doing today. Let's take it slower. Let's go back to the simple things. You don't need to hack your brain. You don't need all these neurotropics. You don't need all this stuff. You have everything that you need within you already, and you can access it by taking a nap or by going on a long walk. Now, let me explain. Let me make the case for both. I'll explain to you exactly why this works. It's all due to the theta state, my absolute favorite brain state. I talk about it on this channel all the time. You might already be fed up by listening about the theta state, but there's more good things that you can make happen through this state. So let me make my case for more naps first. I really think that you need to take more naps. So one of the best ways that we can solve problems, come up with new ideas, and get re-inspired is by accessing that theta brainwave state. The theta brainwave state is the one that I believe is between the alpha and the delta states. Alpha is kind of like relaxed and delta is more deep sleep. So it's the state between wakefulness and sleep. The in-between state, also called the hypnagogic or hypnopompic states. The theta brainwave state has actually been linked to higher levels of creativity. We are more creatively activated when we're in theta state than when we are awake, which is kind of crazy. But wouldn't you know it, flow state is the theta state. When we enter flow, that's when we're super, super creative, right? So when you're painting, when you're doing something that you're really passionate about, and even when you're like communing or doing the dishes and you just get into this in-between dazed kind of state, that is flow state. And that is your most highly creative time. That is the best time for coming up with new ideas. I really want to hammer that in. The theta brainwave state is the state that we see gamma spikes in, right? Which leads us to divergent thinking. When we are conscious, when we're like how I am right now, actually, I'm kind of slipping into flow right now. But when we're conscious and we're having a conversation or we're making decisions or we're talking to somebody, we are having, I believe it's called convergent thinking, where it's just like, it's all conscious. It's one thought at a time. But divergent thinking is like your brain goes in all these different ways and starts to create new patterns and new links with seemingly unrelated thoughts, which is really cool. This is the flow state. So I personally find that taking naps for ideas is more powerful than trying to call them in as you're falling asleep at night, even though that happens too. I've actually refined this method to the point where I will drift off into theta state. And in that state, I will receive an idea. Now listen to what happens, okay? So I go on my couch. My couch is my place for taking my naps, and my body is kind of primed for that theta in-between state there, and I have a lot of mystical experiences on my couch. But I have gotten to this point where I'm so primed to receiving ideas that in theta state, in the astral state, I will receive an idea, and my astral self will pull out a notebook from an astral notebook from nowhere and write down the idea so that I can imprint on my subconscious mind and my conscious mind, so that my conscious mind may have some sort of access to it. So I see myself writing down the idea in this dreamlike state, in this in-between state. And then I come out of that state and I'm able to grab something really quick and write down exactly what came up for me. This has been probably a 2-year process for me working with this state. So like I was saying, I actually did this right before, while I was writing the script for this video. I was really tired. I needed a nap. And I also like to take naps after doing a lot of research because I really feel like it lets everything really marinate in the mind. So as I drifted into sleep, I entered theta and I had an idea that I wrote down on this astral notebook, right? And what I wrote is create people to be the way you want them to be. And I know that might sound like nothing, but it meant something to me. So in the beginning, when I would do this, I had to set an intention before. Now I'm so primed, like my body knows I'm laying down in this certain spot on my couch. It's time for this divergent thinking, flow state, theta state nap, right? Where I get ideas. But in the beginning, I had to set intentions, and I recommend doing that. So you lay down in your spot. You create a spot for yourself and you say, I am napping for an idea. I want my $1 million idea. I want a good idea. Or you ask a question, maybe write down a question, write it down next to you, and then leave a pen and paper right next to you so that you can write down, and I'll tell you exactly how to do this. So in the beginning, when you do this, you're definitely going to get ideas. We always do. This is due to that divergent thinking, which allows us to make these new connections in our mind. But on an esoteric level, I believe that this happens because we are more open to thought form communication. And these thought forms come to us, ideas come to us, like Elizabeth Gilbert says in her book, Big Magic. When we are open to ideas, when we are available collaborators, these ideas will come to us almost as if they have a mind of their own, almost as if they want to be made physical. They have their own agenda. They want to come into reality. Everything around us began as a thought form, everything. So the problem that I came across in the beginning was actually remembering the idea that would come to me. I would wake up and I'd be like, oh my God, that was an incredible idea. What was it? It's gone. And I'm sure you felt that too, right? Have you come up with an incredible idea and you know it's amazing, but it's just gone. You no longer have access to it once you're back in wakefulness. So this is how I figured out how to become, how to remember these things more and how to work with them to the point where I'm able to actually write down notes in these states. So you want to be very intentional, like I was saying. Set aside a time specified for napping, and you only need to do this in the beginning because you're going to get used to this. So even maybe on a specific day or time of day, let your body get used to it. And make sure that you have a quiet and comfortable place to sleep. You want to make sure that you don't get interrupted, okay? You might want to set an alarm if you have something going on later that you have to be awake for, because you don't want your conscious mind waking you up because you're worried about being late for something. So set an alarm, okay? I like to get at least a good 1 hour for a nap. You can keep a notepad or your phone right next to you so that you can just jot down whatever it is right when you wake up. But this is how to not forget these things. You're going to have to train yourself to do this over time, okay? You have to not try to remember. That means that when you're waking up, don't look for the thought. Don't look for it. Just immediately, don't think. No thinking. Just write down whatever words, colors, symbols, whatever is still with you. Over time, you're going to remember more and more. But the issue is that we try to remember, and when we try, we change over to that convergent thinking. And then the subconscious mind closes up and we start working with the conscious mind again. And you'll never have access to that idea. You want to keep thinking with that divergent thinking, so you just write down whatever abstract thing comes from you from that dream. When you start to be like, oh, what was it? It was this, it was this, it was that. You close off the stream to this idea. So you literally have to not think and just write whatever's there, okay? So learning to utilize this state does take some practice, but doing it regularly, you're going to create this beautiful new habit that's going to take your productivity levels to new levels and going to make you just so much more creative and a better problem solver too. This is my case for napping. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And on the matter of walking, I want to just really quick also put this out there. It's the same thing. It's accessing that theta state, that convergent thinking flow state. I love walking. It helps me to digest. It helps me to digest emotions too. It helps me move around energy. And I always come up with new ideas whenever I walk. So I mentioned that I do love listening to audiobooks on my walks because it does inspire me and triggers divergent thinking, and I start making new connections. But I also love to be silent on my walk, so I will put on my noise canceling headphones and I won't listen to anything. I'll just be quiet and just be really immersed in visually in my surroundings. You know who else liked to take quiet walks? Charles Darwin, as he developed his theory of evolution by means of natural selection. He and Einstein, Freud, Descartes, Tolstoy, Dickens, and many more great minds like Leeor Alexandra. I'm joking, I'm kidding. But we're all obsessed with long walks outside. A Stanford experiment actually measured this. They tested 2 groups of people, and they found that after a walk, subjects' creativity scores were 60% higher over the control groups. That's a really significant number, 60%. So you really want to create sacred time for musing, for allowing your thoughts to just marinate while you go on a long walk. Walking improves our creativity, it enhances our memory, and it really changes our brain. As we walk, we relax and we drift into this low alpha or even this theta state that we've been talking about. And that's when we're most receptive to channeling ideas from higher realms. And sometimes these are going to be incredible $1 million ideas. And sometimes a lower thought form might come in. And then you're going to have to discern yourself whether starting a traveling circus during a panini is the best idea. So again, walking can bring us into that divergent thinking state where the brain forms these random connections between pieces of knowledge that we already have that seemingly aren't related, but suddenly you're like, bump, 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 bump. Oh my God, I'm now financially independent because of this beautiful business idea. You know, that's how Amazon came into the world. That's how everything here came into the world. So when I'm feeling stuck in life and uninspired, I go for a nice long walk. And I always come home just inspired and ready to create something new. So I just wanted to talk about this today because I want you to remember that you don't need to do all these fancy things in order to bring inspiration back into your life. You are a conduit for inspiration and for ideas. You just have to learn how to access that. If you are a meditator, I mean, there's no better way, right? That's like the best thing to do. If you're not a meditator, go take a nap, go take a walk. That's my case for more naps and more long walks in nature, quietly, just leisurely. I just want you to have a leisurely life. Is that okay? If you like this video and you want more of my super simple life hacks for productivity, problem solving, and inspiration, please give it a like. Please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Please leave a comment below with what you think and what you do to call in ideas. I'd love to know what kind of ideas you've had while taking a long hot shower, a long nice walk, or while napping. Let's talk ideas. Let's call them in. Let's create a safe space for ideas right now so that we may channel more in. I love you. Thank you for spending some time with me. And until my next video, keep your vibration way up. Bye.